Yo, what up? Welcome to Mo Boxing No Problem. I'm Jose Zepeda Jr. Today I'm joined by Ruben from Through the Ropes. What up, Ruben?
Yeah, how's it going? Thank you
And
for
we got
having me.
TJ from the Boxing Syndicate. What up, TJ?
What up, yo? What's going on?
Good, man. It's been a busy Sunday. If you've been watching, I had 2 interviews today, but had to come back and drop the breakdown on the great fight we had yesterday. Regis Prograis versus Jose Zepeda for the vacant WBC title. We had David cover the fight live. He can't join us today, but he sends his appreciation to Marv Nation for letting us cover that event. But before we go into those details, I want to basically get your feedback on what you thought of the fight. So first question I want to ask you guys, was this the fight of the year that it was hyped up to be? And then overall, what were your impressions? We'll start with you, TJ.
I think it was a good fight. I wouldn't call it fight of the year. I think Regis looked real comfortable pretty much the whole time. Pretty much just breaking them down the whole time, landed some big left hands the first 3 or 4 rounds. So I think Regis really showed out and showed why he's one of the best at 140 to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got a message here from Skywalker. He says, salute. Salute,
What up,
Skywalker.
what up?
I know you got a show coming on in about an hour talking about this fight as well. Looking forward to hearing you and Tim's thoughts on this fight. Ruben, what do you think? Was this the fight of the year that we were hyping up on Friday?
I definitely think it lived up to expectations. I mean, I know I myself was putting some big expectations on it, but was it fight of the year? I mean, falls a little short of it, but I mean, I found it exciting, even though because personally, I thought Zepeda won the first 2 rounds, and then I think Prograis kind of took control of the fight, like from the fourth round and beyond. But I mean, there was some great exchanges. There was obviously there was a dynamic. The knockout was with Dynamite, and overall it was a great fight. It had me on the edge of the seat because I mean in round 10, Zepeda showed life again, and he showed life in round 10. But before that too, there was some shots where Zepeda did land on Prograis, and it kind of stopped him in his tracks. So overall, it was a good fight. I had Regis winning it, and I had him giving him the slight edge. But yeah, it was very solid to me.
Yeah,
A very good statement win too, because to stop Zepeda the way he did, it really showed how good Prograis is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I echo both of your comments. I think it was a good fight, short of being fight of the year. I think if they would have traded some knockdowns, we would have really been talking fight of the year contender. But the one thing that really stood out to me is like there was no ring rust from Jose Zepeda. I know we're talking about him being out for a year, and I was expecting him to probably maybe lose the first couple of rounds, but it was the opposite. He came out looking pretty good that first round, working the jab, and it took Prograis a couple of rounds to figure him out. But once he did, he started working the counter over the jab, and that made Chon kind of hesitant to jab anymore. And that kind of just changed the fight, and it became pretty one-sided after the third round. I think Prograis was in control, although Chon did like buzz him a couple of times. Like Prograis got buzzed a few times, but he showed a great chin.
Oh,
All right. Cool. All right, we got.
That chin was definitely on display because Zepeda hit him with some solid left hands too.
Yeah, hit him hard. All right, Scott Walker says great fight. I was expecting it to be a little bit more competitive, but it was really good fight. Zepeda had his moments like 10th round, hurting Regis, but it was all Regis Prograis that fight. Yeah, I mean, I gave Sean Zepeda 2 rounds. I gave him the first and the 10th round. I think you, Ruben, before we went on air, you mentioned you gave him the first, second, and the 10th.
Yeah, I gave him 3 rounds.
Cool. How many rounds did you give Zepeda winning, TJ?
Yeah, so Zepeda, I had that 10th round for sure. And then I think I had probably that second round too. I thought Regis was kind of just like trying to figure him out. You know what I mean? So he probably gave away those rounds, but at the same time, I think he was still really comfortable in there. And then, but at the same time, like I said, I had the fight on in the background. I was watching in the 5th or 6th round. Zepeda hit him with some good shots, and that like Ruben was saying, stopped him in his track. So it was some good back and forth action, though, for sure.
Yeah, and I know in the post-fight, Prograis was saying that Zepeda was, one of the toughest, if not the toughest fight of his career. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was kind of just in the moment giving him so much love, because I thought that the Josh Taylor fight was a much tougher fight for him. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think it was really that tough a fight for Prograis, or is he kind of just heat of the moment, giving lots of love to Zepeda.
I think it was. Go ahead, TJ.
Oh no, go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead.
I think it was. I mean, I think the Taylor fight was tougher, but this is definitely a strong second because I mean, you saw his face. You did see his face bruised up a little bit. It wasn't like like he was ready to go to the club and
True.
and whatnot. So, but yeah, I think I mean, Zepeda definitely showed his heart, and I think we as much as we're giving Regis Prograis all the credit in the world that he rightly deserves. I mean, Zepeda, he showed his heart. He could have easily kept it safe, but no, he kept in there and kept trying to win the fight and turn it his way. But yeah, I don't think it was, to go back to the initial question, I don't think it was his toughest fight, but it's definitely the second one, the second toughest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would agree that Josh Taylor was a lot, tougher for Regis, but at the same time, Zepeda is not anything, he's not a joke in the ring either. I was going to, before Ruben said it, I was going to kind of talk about that too. Like in a press conference, Regis' face was kind of messed up, you know what I mean? Because Zepeda was landing some bombs on him too. So I don't know. I think it was definitely his second toughest fight. But Josh Taylor, I would love to see that rematch to see if he can get that win. A lot of people thought he won the first one. I thought it could have went either way. I wasn't upset with the Taylor W, but I would love to see that rematch though. And I know he called him out too at the press conference as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And again, Skywalker chiming in says Regis hard to hit. His movement was really good. Yeah, that's another thing. His footwork's really good. I know his head movement, like from the very beginning, was he proactively moving around, making it a hard stationary target for Zepeda. And going back to your original point, Ruben, about yes, we're giving all the credit pretty much to Prograis because he won. He's a new champion, but Zepeda showed he's a warrior. He was fighting every single minute of every single round, and he went out on his shield. He just got caught in that 11th round. So with that, let's segue into what the future holds for each fighter. We'll start with probably the obvious one, the winner, Regis Prograis. What's next for him? We'll start with you, TJ. What do you think's in store for Prograis now that he's won?
Yeah, for Prograis, I would like to see him fight Josh Taylor again or Jack Catterall because I know them two have to fight. Do a rematch. So I'd love to see any one of those fights with him. Jose Ramirez, I know he called him out. Wouldn't mind that either. Then, I know I made a post with Tiafimo on there. I know that's, they haven't been in any talks about anything like that, but I think that'd be a dope-ass fight at 142, him and Tiafimo. So.
Yep, for sure. What about you, Ruben?
Yeah, I agree. All those names. I also got to throw in Barbosa would be a good.
Yep, Arnold Barbosa. Yep.
That'd be a good one. But I mean, from the one I do want to watch the most is that Josh Taylor rematch. But maybe have it in not have it overseas. Maybe have it in America this time. I mean, this time they both have one title each. I mean, saying that. If Josh Taylor even decides to stay at 140, I know he was talking about going up to 147. And I mean, and if he can get past Jack Catterall too, because I mean that one fight that when they fought, everybody was saying it was a gift, and I kind of agree with it. I had Jack Catterall winning.
Yeah, I wish TJ was here for the pre-fight breakdown we did on Friday because I know he would back me 100%. Because I was like, Jack Catterall is the number 140 pounds. Like
absolutely,
he beat Josh Taylor.
100%.
Yeah, he did. So Josh Taylor is.
Yeah, I was about to say. I looked at. I just look up the rankings and everything on ESPN. They still have Jack Catterall number 1 at 140.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So you know what I mean. So a lot of the sanctioning bodies, a lot of these blogs and things like that have him number 1, even though he lost that fight. So
real recognized real. So I mean, that's how I have it. I have Catterall, then Taylor, and then Prograis at number 3. Comment here from SportsNTunes says it was crazy champs. He was there live. He saw that live action. Appreciate you, man.
And also one other thing I want to add on to that, we're still talking about Regis Prograis before we go talk about Zepeda. Not only is the one obviously we talked about Josh Taylor, Catterall, Lopez, Barboza, but the 135 pounders that are gonna moving up soon, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, they're all gonna have to, if they want to be champions, right now they're gonna have to fight Prograis if they want that WBC belt. So that also makes for even this weight class even better now. Honestly,
Isn't Brandon Lee in that division too? 140.
Yep, 140.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's
that'd be a
dog.
dope fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. And Skywalker wants our opinions. He says Zepeda and Regis would both easily destroy Teofimo. Do you agree?
I don't think he'd destroy either
Regis.
or. I don't think he'll destroy either or. I think Regis. I actually have Regis beating Lopez, but I think Zepeda and Lopez would be a good fight.
Same. I think the same. I think Regis and TFMO will be good. Honestly, I think that's more 50-50-ish. I really do like TFMO, but Zepeda, I think him and Zepeda will be a better fight, to what Ruben was going towards. But I think Regis could edge out a good W against Teofimo, though. I don't think Teofimo really want to take that risk right now.
Yeah, and I want to see how Teofimo's power carried to 140. I know he got the stoppage on Campa. I haven't seen too much of Campa to know where he ranks as far as chin wise. But the thing with Zepeda is like he's been in so many wars. It's like can he still take Teofimo's power? But I agree. Regis would beat Teofimo. Zepeda and Teofimo that could go either way. Cool. All right, and then another name that Skywalker wanted to mention at 140 pounds, Super Matias. Another killer at 140. Yeah, Puerto Rican man, he's up there. It's a beast. All right, so let's transition now to Jose Zepeda. I think he has a lot left in the tank despite those wars. So I think it's premature to talk retirement. What would you guys want to see out of him next?
Take a couple easy fights and then throw himself back in the mix. Because like I said, I feel like Zepeda's name now is going to be like a test your waters kind of fight before for example, how we were talking about Teofimo Lopez. I think Teofimo Lopez will take a Zepeda fight before he takes a Prograis fight, just to kind of see how he deals with, like you said too, in the pre-show, you had Zepeda like not a top 5 welterweight. He was kind of on the inside, outside looking in.
Yep.
So it's like you're still fighting a top 10 welterweight. He's been tested with big names. So I feel like he's kind of, I don't want to say a gatekeeper, but almost that, if that makes sense. Right. I'm trying to say.
He's definitely a good barometer for like that upper top 5 tier.
I was going towards that same direction. Like, I don't think he's technically a gatekeeper because, he could still, if you give him a young dude, he might whoop him. You know what I mean? He's probably not a gatekeeper. He probably whoop one of these young guys, like a young prospect. So I don't think he's a gatekeeper. But to Ruben's point again, he probably should take a tune-up or two before he try to jump back into a title conversation or anything like that. Or even an eliminator conversation. You probably should take a tune-up or two. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got a comment here from Ace TV Boxing, which it kind of segues to who I think he should fight next. He says, good stuff, Mo. You guys heard Pedraza pulling out the female fight. Yep, we heard that Pedraza is out. Ensure Sandor Martin, which I think is actually an upgrade. It's going to be a better fight for them. Yep. And that's actually who I would probably want Zepeda to fight next, like him versus Pedraza. Would be a good fight because Pedraza isn't known for his power. So, I think it's low risk for him being knocked out by Pedraza. And if we can't get that, if Jose Ramirez available, I would like to see that rematch. I honestly think like Pedraza won against Ramirez, close fight, but that'll be a good one.
Definitely.
All right. And Skywalker says that he wants Barbosa, then Teofimo next. All right. Is this for Zepeda or for Regis Skywalker? Because that'd be good for both. I think.
Yeah, because what other belts are vacated right now? The WBA, 140. The WBA still vacated, right?
I think so. They took that from Josh Taylor, right?
Yeah. Because I know they took a couple belts. So I mean, there's gonna be a good amount of fighters getting opportunities to fight for some vacant belts. So that'd be, it shakes up the division again. Not that Josh Taylor, I guess, doesn't have the belts hostage anymore, because I mean,
yeah.
And I think that's a big reason that he probably will go up to 147 after this fight, because he's no longer undisputed. What reason for him to stay right here if he wins against Jack Catterall? He'd probably just make that move to 147 to see what he could do.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to pull up the rankings right now, see who it is, because I think there is a lot of belts currently vacant right now. Let's see.
Yeah, get those slots filled in because
Yeah.
like you said, to your point, like let's say he does get past Jack Catterall or whatever. I don't think he'd want to fight Regis again. I feel like it's like
Yeah,
he'd
it's a
probably
risk.
it's a risk, and he can already say I already beat him. There's no reason to fight him again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it looks like the IBF still vacant. So the number one contender for that is Jeremiah Ponce, I think for Nicaragua, Subriel Matias from Puerto Rico, number 2, and then Jack Catterall is number 3 for the IBF. WBC, of course, Regis Prograis just won that one. And then the WBA, they actually have Alberto Puello, the Dominican Republic guy. I think, yeah, he does what's his name for it? I think it's like Rogelio something. I think he just became the super WBA champion. So maybe the IBF route.
Yeah,
if he wants to like go back for another title contention, but he'll get back there. I think he'll get back there. He's talented. He's still young. And then just kind of as a segue to talking about David's experience, what do you guys think of the event in general? I know it was a promoter that normally doesn't have a lot of big fights in Marv Nation, but I thought they did a great job. What do you guys think about the presentation?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I said, I got it like on right now. I can see like they look like they had a nice little setup. Probellum, they're fairly new, but they seem like they know what they're doing. They got. I'm sure Regis is their biggest signee right now, but in the future, you probably could see bigger names go over there since Regis just won a title over there. You know what I mean? So we can see what they can do. Probellum seems like they know what they're doing right now. I'm not sure. Is that an overseas promotion? I'm not sure.
I think so. I think that's the one that whatchamacallit, jump ship, the Richard Schaefer. I think Richard Schaefer went to Pro Bellum.
I want to I don't know if you guys heard about this or maybe it was just me, but the rumor that the reason Top Rank didn't bid for this fight because they don't work with Pro Bella. That's what I heard.
With the Pro Bellum. Yeah, I heard that too.
With that being said, it would be a real shame for these big fights not to happen for Regis just because Top Rank doesn't want to do business with them.
Yeah, I would suck. Although to that rumor, I did hear that the Sanford Boxing, their bid was backed by Top Rank, so that was their way of like bidding on the fight indirectly without putting the Top Rank name to it.
They put the middleman in there.
Yeah. So they may do something similar for that because Regis Prograis is here to stay. Now he has a belt, so I think he's going to be ducked less. It's going to be more call outs. Do you guys think he's going to be at 140 for too long, though?
He said he wanted to stay. That's what the commentators are saying, that he wanted to be the marvelous Marvin Hagler of the 140. And I mean, I don't knock him for saying, like I said, the Ryan Garcias, the Devin Haney's, they're eventually going to move up to 140, and that's where the money fights are. I mean, I doubt maybe he could go up to 147 and fight Crawford.
Well, if he wants the money fight 147, you gotta fight Spence. That's what money's at.
Yeah, but I think Spence is gonna move up. If he doesn't get the Crawford fight,
you're right.
If he doesn't, what's it called? If he doesn't fight Crawford here soon, I think he's gonna move up. I mean, he's already done everything. He already cleared house at 147 pretty much. So
yeah.
That's true. But man, can you imagine Regis versus Jaron Ennis at 147?
I'm still taking Boots, but I think it'd be a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, Prograis has improved since that Josh Taylor fight. I think he's definitely learned a thing or two since that. So there's plenty of great fights for him. Plenty of great fights, whether it's at 140, 147, plenty of great fights for him.
Yeah, I just thought of this one too. Prograis versus Thurman.
Yeah,
that'll be a good one.
Now that's a good fight, and that's not, that's a good fight. That's a good one.
Yeah, so that's a good one. I know even if he wanted to go up there and just test the waters real quick, he could fight Mario Barrios.
Mario Barrios.
I think he wins that too.
So I feel like either way, if he decides to go up or stay there, I think it's there's a lot of good fights to be made. But I'd personally want to see him stay there at the weight division, so he's kind of like in the mix with the contenders at 140 now, and then with the future guys coming up. So I think 140 is solid and potentially, I mean, not only like as in making big fights and making good fights, but money wise for him, I feel like the smart move would be to stay at 140.
Could be because a lot of the names, like you said, from 135 are going to move up. You know, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia after this Tank fight is going to be there.
I remember even when Tank and Regis Prograis were going back and forth for a little bit too. So yeah.
Hey, you never know.
I was about to say that wouldn't be bad. Fight another 140 fight.
Yeah, but my theory though is I think Prograis is going to stay long enough to probably unify. He's going to try to go for another belt, and then he's going to chase Josh Taylor at 147. He's going to want that like rematch to settle the score.
Yeah, it seems like he really wants that.
Yeah, that's his only blemish. I don't blame him.
Yeah, so
he want to prove that he's better than him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, Ruben, too, like I think that made a lot of sense because at first I was thinking like, you know, I'm not sure how long he'd be comfortable. I mean, he looks comfortable, you know, making the weight, but I'm not. Yeah. I didn't know how long he would want to do it. But to your point, why wouldn't you want to stay at 140 and wait for those 135ers to come up and make those big fights? That make a lot of sense too.
Yeah. And even going back to the fight, like his movement stayed the same from like the first round to the 11th round to the stoppage. Like he looked like fresh. I know he had like blemishes on his face, but he never really looked out of gas. Like
for sure,
out or anything. And man, when like he would dip low and explode, like he has good power and like he explodes. It's really impressive.
Yeah, he was in extreme shape. Like he was in phenomenal shape.
Looked fresh the whole time. Yes, talking about his feet. I saw him on his YouTube channel. If you guys didn't watch the like his little camp videos, I recommend them. They were cool. He runs in boots.
Yeah, seen that. Yeah, I did see that. Like he runs like heels and boots and shit. Yeah, I did see that shit.
Yeah, it makes sense, you know. So
yeah, the only knock I would say on Prograis' performance that I read online was he was keeping his hands a little too low at times. And as he gets older, I mean, reflexes kind of start going away, so he can't get too sloppy with the top talent fighting like that. But otherwise, man, impressive performance, and Zepeda gave it a good outing. You know, definitely was a great fight.
Yeah, so Zepeda is watching this video somehow. Shout outs to Zepeda for showing heart and going out on his shield. Yeah,
shout out to Zepeda, man, and we're looking forward to seeing you back in some more action-packed fights. Yeah. Take Ruben's advice though, and take at least one easy fight. You deserve it, champ. All right, any closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, it was a good one, man. I'm really ready to see what Regis can do in the future. Now I'm excited to see what big fights he can make, and what other belts he can try to grab. So we'll see.
For sure. All right, we got a comment here from Just Do. It says, salute brothers, respect to the panel and chat. Salute Just Do. We're about wrapping it up, man. So we'll do the round table. Ruben, where can people find you?
You can find me on Through the Ropes, just how it looks right there on YouTube and Instagram.
For sure. TJ, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at the Boxing Syndicate on Instagram. And then I got my YouTube link in the bio and also TBS Boxing on TikTok.
Awesome. All right. Well, that concludes our thoughts for Prograis versus Zepeda. If you can't get enough content, my boy Skywalker is going to go live in about 30 minutes to talk about this fight. So make sure to check him out. Otherwise, we're out. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys.
Peace.
See y'all.